Welcome to NET Vaper Reviews. Today's subject is a very important subject that comes up very often in the comments or by email, and it repeats itself by vapers asking me. I reviewed the new Mouse-to-Long RTA and they bought a Mouse-to-Long RTA based on my previous review. Is it worth upgrading? Is this better than this? Is this better than that? Should I buy this one? Should I buy that one? Now, I thought about it quite a while to talk about this subject because in the end of the day, I've got a certain responsibility. If you buy a Mouse-to-Long RTA based on my review and then I review something else and I say, wow, it's excellent, does that mean that the one that I reviewed before wasn't? No. So, but let's talk about this subject. Now, I thought initially to make notes and to follow my notes, but then I was getting confused and it's taking too much time. So I decided to do it in a natural manner, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be the wiser on how to decide to upgrade from existing setup you've got that you're fairly happy with to something else, right? Now, we're all ex-smokers, so I'm not sure what you smoked. If you smoke cigarettes, there's not much to talk about. Cigarettes was you light it and that's it. But when you talk about cigars, for instance, cigars is a lot more involved, right? So let's say you buy a very good quality, a Cohiba, Cuban cigar, right? Now, there is in the cigar various types of leaves. Yeah, you've got the wrapper, the filler, and the binder. Now, let's argument I would get a hold of those leaves. Let's say I went to Cuba, I bought myself raw, fully cured, mature leaves ready to be cut into a cigar. And I take it home and I cut it in various ways and I just roll it up to look like a cigar, cut it on the sides, light it and smoke it. Would it taste as good as a proper Cuban cigar? No. Why? Because it's not only the leaf, it's the way they constructed that cigar. It should have a consistent burn. The airflow should be perfectly right, not too tight, not too airy. So there's a lot more involved in making a cigar than the mere leaf. Very similar in Mouse-to-Long RTAs. That is not only the liquid that you've got in there, that the coil is vaporizing it and you're inhaling the vapor. I hope you don't hear they're doing tree cutting now on the street by the council, so I hope it doesn't disturb. I didn't have a better time to do this just now. I hope it doesn't disturb. So in a Mouse-to-Long RTA, it's a lot to do like a cigar. The airflow, the way it's built, the design, the deck, the chimney. It's no good just taking something resembles a deck, put in a coil, put in cotton, put a glass on top of it, put a mouthpiece and vape it. It wouldn't work, right? You need expertise and knowledge how to build an RTA that will deliver the flavor you're craving and everything else with it. Now, in 2019, I reviewed quite a few Mouse-to-Long RTAs that I don't really use anymore. Why? Because in those days, there was quite evolving and they were producing better and much, every few months they came up with something new that is better. Now, in 2020, 2021, and 2022, to be honest, any Mouse-to-Long RTA decent quality will produce very good flavor. That is no doubt about, right? So if you are just after flavor, any of those tanks will do the trick. Now, in vaping, there is a few elements. One, obviously, is the nicotine delivery. That is much healthier in vaping than in smoking, right? But in that, you can get on a pod kit. Stock oil, very good quality. Today, Anakin and BP mods, the AMD ones, very good. Aspire, very good quality stock oil. So if you're a flavor only, you can get those in many very budgety setups. If you're fruit and dessert vapor, then disposables deliver delicious flavors. No one ever doubted the flavors. A bit sweet, but very good flavor. If you're RDA, dripper, you will get amazing flavor. You're right above the coil. Where this video is talking about like-minded vapors to me who enjoy tobacco, and within the tobacco you got certain blends and mouth-to-long RTAs. That is what this video is really for. Because if you're fruit and dessert, any mouth-to-long RTA, the ones I reviewed of last year and even the year before, will bring you the delicious flavors, because fruit and desserts have got actual flavoring in it, so it's a lot stronger. So you'll taste it on anything, you'll taste it good. But when you talk about tobacco, naturally extracted, it's the byproduct of the extraction, and the flavors are very delicate, and there comes a difference in various forms and of delivery. So that will come to in a minute. Now, when you talk about mouth-to-long RTAs, you've got various designs and area where it was designed and built. Chiefly among them is Europe. European mouth-to-long RTAs are, no matter what you get, you know for sure that they had tobacco vapors in mind. And that reflects on also fruit and desserts, on the quality of that RTA, that will taste amazing. Now, within Europe, you've got quite a few. You've got Germany, the K-Fons, the Fev, the Dwarf. You've got Turkey, the Spiker Pro. You've got Korea, the Mea Culpa. You've got Italian, the 8C, and the Labs that I reviewed as of late. Oh yeah, BP Mods, but Italian design. The Bishop, which has got an Italian design, the Vaping Gentleman Club. So you see where I'm going with this. Even though it's done in China, but it's got influence, European influence, you know you're going to get something good quality. Of course, there is build quality grade. The higher you go, the more expensive it is. But the build quality does not really affect the flavor. As you can see, the biggest proof is clones. Clones are made in China based on knowledge of European tanks, and the flavor of those are absolutely amazing, even though the build quality is not as good as the original. So you can see that build quality does not have a major effect on, or even a minor effect on flavor. So why do people buy so many mouth-to-long RTAs, me included? Well, because then you're talking about the hobbyist side. Pipe smoker. I'm very doubtful if you ever find a pipe smoker who's got one or two pipes. No, he's got many. Why? Is because it's the grain, it's the hobbyist side, the grain of the wood, the hard, how hard, what good quality of wood, the mouthpiece, the whole design of the pipe. It's a whole market out there on pipes. What is the difference between a Peterson pipe to a Savinelli? Savinelli is the leading, it's like the K-Fon. Yeah, Italian. Now, the Italian passion of the Savinelli is also in the mouth-to-long RTAs, the 8C and the Labs in a lesser extent. Well, not so much a lesser extent, we'll talk that in a minute. The German know-how in cars, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, all the, you know, the desired brands in vehicle is also in the RTAs, the K-Fons, the Dwarf, the Fev. Yeah. So you can see where I'm going with this. So it is very similar to pipe smoking or cigar smoking. For instance, you pick up a cigar In Cuba, you've got so many different. Now, if you smoke a cigar, if you're a new cigar smoker, everything will taste like smoke to you. You wouldn't detect those different leaf notes until much later. So why are you buying so many cigars? You're buying Cohiba, you're going Romeo and Juliet. There's so many different blends and makers of cigars. Why are you buying a humidor? I've got a humidor with 50, 60 cigars there. Why? It's because you want to sample all those who produce the cigar with so much work, years of knowledge. You want to see if you can detect this leaf from that region, this leaf was cured this way, this was done this way. You want to taste all the various notes in each cigar. Exactly the same as mouth-to-long RTAs with tobacco blends. You want to taste those delicate flavors, a bit different on each RTA. Has got a different type of delivery. So this is the hobbyist side. Now, not all of us are hobbyists. A guy mentioned to me in the comments, he said, you know, it's working out much more expensive with the vaping. Yes, it depends what is important to you. Now, so let's bring it now into some kind of structure. How to decide if you want to upgrade your existing mouth-to-long RTA. Let's take, for example, the last two I reviewed. Both are high ends. So the Akana, that is Chinese, but with German know-how, the pipeline, to the Air, which is Greek, yeah, European. What is the difference between them? Well, let's bring it down to the core. What makes an RTA worth looking into? When you want to buy an RTA, the first or upgrade, what are you looking for in a mouth-to-long RTA? Well, the flavor. It has to be good flavor. You spent money, well, effort into stop smoking. It's not easy. You took on vaping to preserve your health, but you don't want to miss out on the quality of the vape that you can achieve. So you spend money to buy a good, or you want to spend money on a good mouth-to-long RTA. So you want top flavor. Obviously, you want a smooth and turbulent-free airflow. Now, airflow is so important in a mouth-to-long RTA. That brings the condensed flavor into the chimney, and that is also very important. The chimney, the deck layout, all those contribute. The build quality as well contributes to the knowledge that you've got something that is going to last for years and won't crack, won't break. Yeah. So when you choose a high-end or mid-budget, no matter what you choose, those are the categories you're looking for. Flavor, smooth airflow, throated to those who it's important to them. For me, not so much. I rather prefer less throated than more because I don't like that kick in my throat all the time. Easy deck layout that you can change your wick on the go. Easy to do without too many moving parts and make it too complicated. Juice flow, yes or no. Juice flow in a way is good because like this you can control the juice flow. Some prefer without juice flow because there's no flooding risk if you leave it too open or dry hit if you leave it closed. Also, every time you do something, you need to remember to close the juice flow, to open the juice flow. So is pros and cons. I wouldn't say cons, is preferred or not preferred juice flow. Now, another element is how easy is it to get hold of the RTA in the first place, and if you did get a hold of it, what if you need the parts for it? Is it easy and accessible, right? Why is Aspire coil so popular or Anakin? Because you get them everywhere, right? You've gone on holiday, you took your most expensive, take the Arcana, if something happens to it, where do you get a replacement for the glass, for the screws for the deck, even the mouthpiece that you could use any other, but you want the original mouthpiece, let's say. Something happened to your RTA. Where do you go for replacement? Can you find it easy? O-rings, for instance. All those factors come into play before you choose a first or upgrade mouth-to-long RTA. Now, when we talk about flavor, that most questions are asked to me, what is it better flavor? I am only after flavor. Is it better after flavor? Yeah. On the rare occasion, I get a question, is the throated as strong or less? Is the airflow smooth or not? No one ever asked me really, how easy is it to live with it on a daily basis? Now, either you're saying this because you're already experienced and that is not an issue, that's fine. But those who don't realize that an RTA needs maintenance, right? If you vape tobacco, you need to change the wick every 2 days to keep optimal flavor. How easy is it to get to the hole to the deck and to change the wick? Now, even if it's easy to put in the cotton, does the juice flow or the gravity-based feeding system of the liquid, does it saturate the wick properly? Do you get full flavor every time you vape, or every time is a near miss dry hit, or flooding or leaking? All those factors can take away the enjoyment of your new mouth-to-long RTA. So going back to the subject of these two, what if I reviewed this and you went and bought it? Do you need to upgrade the air? Let's put it down to a nutshell, and from these two you can learn about everything else as well. What is important to you? Flavor. Both are excellent flavor on any liquid, from fruit to desserts to tobacco to Virginias to anything will taste delicious. But within the tobacco, especially with tobacco, there is various different blends. Yes, there is a various difference between the two on different blends. The Arcana is best with Virginia and Burley, Cavendish, blonde tobacco. The Air has got an advantage that is also good with smoky. That doesn't mean that if I put a smoky blend in here, the English mixture, in here, I wouldn't taste the full spectrum of those flavors. Yes, I would. 100% I would. But to my palate, I detect a slight variant in those blends when it comes to smoky, for instance. Take, for instance, the Spiker Pro. If I put in here a smoky English mixture, it will taste delicious. I put a Virginia, it will taste delicious as well. But the Arcana will bring it out a bit better. Take the Fev, you put in a Virginia, you get it a bit sweeter, a bit more rounded, a bit less on the harshness of the tobacco. On the Spiker Pro, you'll get the tobacco the way it is. Some like it, some don't. But if you have, for instance, a Fev, and I reviewed the Arcana, what is the difference between them? Yes, this might be a bit more build quality, German and designed and made in Germany. This has got a bit of Chinese manufactured to reduce price, but it's got the German know-how. Does it make a difference? No, absolutely not. But when I'm vaping the same liquid, the same Virginia in the Fev or in the Arcana, it's so much the same. The Fev might bring out a bit sweeter because this brings out sweetness of any liquid. The airflow is just as smooth, maybe a bit quieter. So now, let's talk about the airflow. The airflow, what's so important, is turbulence free. Not that you get this noisy, uneven airflow, or you don't get it as tight as you like or airy as you like. It has to have enough inserts in the kit to provide you with a perfect airflow. Airflow can be a major thing. If it is too airy, you will not enjoy it if you like it tight. If you like it airy and it's too tight, you'll say, oh, I can't take this. You need the right inserts. Now, most of 2020, 2022 and 23, even on 21, Even on 19, the Kfon Light 19, yeah, but that was exceptional to the rule in those days. That's why I was become a massive fan of Kfon. But Airflow, most give you the right inserts, some don't. Take, for instance, Berserker V version 3, but you can get them, I suppose. But anyway, even if they don't give you the full, if you got 0.8, 1 milliliter, 1.2, you're okay, right? So the airflow on all of them are smooth, not so quiet. Take the mea culpa, it is noisy. Compared to the air, it is definitely noisy. Yeah. So that is a factor for you to consider. So let's go. The flavor. We decided the flavor. You can get good flavor on any mouth-to-lung RTA, from budget, from the Bishop. What have I got here? Still budget to the Pico, the Nico by Aspire. Excellent flavor. Budget to Pioneer. Budget, build quality, flavor, superb. Take the Siren version 4, throated, wow. Flavor, wow. Build quality, yeah. Silent draw, yeah. So, you see where I'm going? It's not only the most expensive that deliver those categories what makes a mouth-to-lung RTA stand out. No. So when you watch a review of a mouth-to-lung RTA, let's say you've got the Bishop, the super smooth airflow, good flavor, easy deck to work on. It takes more or less everything. I don't think Ambition Mods knew what a success they've got on their hands with that, the Vaping Gentleman Club input, and on the labs with the Italian design as well. I don't know who they are. Also very good quality. Do you need to upgrade from the Bishop? If you, as we decided, the flavor, the airflow, the easiness of reaching the deck, the saturation of the coil on all times, no juice flow, but very effective. What do you need to upgrade from the Bishop? The only reason why you will want to upgrade from the Bishop is the hobbyist side, like the pipe smoker who's buying a Savinelli when he's got a lesser quality. That's the only reason. The smoke that comes out from the Savinelli and the smoke that comes out from Peterson is still a good company, but I don't know other companies. There's many more companies that take a corn cob pipe, $10, £10 versus Savinelli, £90. High end. Is there a difference in the smoke itself? No. When you first smoking a pipe, they're all going to taste the same. Eventually you will notice there is slight differences within the blend. You get this, you get the Virginia, the sweetness of the Virginia, the smoky from the Latakia, the woody from the Cavendish, and it goes on. The raisin type earthiness of a black Cavendish. You learn how to detect those flavors, but in the beginning, all just smoke. Just smoke. Was there a difference between a Savinelli and a corn cob pipe? The only difference is in your hobby side of your brain. This is very high quality wood, briar, and this is a corn cob that costs you a dime a dozen. And the flavor, not so much difference. Very similar in the mouth-to-lung RTA cycle of things. If you're after good flavor, you can get them in mid-budget. Take the Expromiser V4, which is, where is it? I had it over here. Yeah. Which is a mid-budget. One of my favorites in flavor, in draw, in silent airflow, in easiness of wicking and coiling. And it ticks all the boxes. Take another one, SXK, right? The Elitism. Very nice RTA. Do you need to upgrade? No. If not for the hobby side, no. Yes, you will get on the Fev, on the Kfon, the experience, maybe a slight improvement of flavor. Yes, I can't deny that. But is it worth the massive price you paid? I doubt that very much. I wouldn't give away my Fev for, if they stopped producing Fev and someone offered me £200 for it, I'm not going to sell it, because it's not the money. It's the enjoyment I have from this amazing tank. Yeah, looks. I love the looks. But so goes for the air. Yeah, it is an enjoyment, not so much for the flavor and the airflow and the draw and the ease of deck. Yeah, but this is fairly complex. If you're not into complex RTAs, I would suggest that kind of, for sure, over the air, because this is so much easier to maintain on a daily basis. So why do I enjoy the air? Is because I enjoy the hobby side of it. But if you're a vapor who is looking to get off the smoking with excellent possibilities and enjoy the flavor more than a pot kit or stock oil or disposable, yeah, that's why you're going for a mouth-to-long RTA. The Bishop is perfect. Perfect. The Classic by Steam Crate is perfect. There is a difference between the Classic and the Bishop, yes. The Classic is a bit sharper, like the Pioneer. The Bishop is rounder, but that doesn't mean it's less flavor. It's just a bit different. And I can't say this enough. Different, not less, not more. Different. And today's mouth-to-long RTAs in 2022 and 23, even in 21, everyone is copying one another. You know, if I review the Bishop, you know how many people watch the review? I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about my review. I'm talking about other manufacturers look at the reaction of the reviewer. They look at the deck. They buy it themselves. They study it. They copy from one another. So what happens is, over the years, it's evolved to become the maximum one can achieve from mouth-to-long RTA. Not talking about the build quality grade that's high-end, spend a lot more money. But I'm talking about the concept of an RTA that produces amazing flavor has evolved. That today in 2023, yeah, in March 2023, anything you would buy from a decent company, Chinese, European, or Korean, or Italian, or French, or any, yeah, you are guaranteed to get a proper vape. But the question is, that's regards to flavor. The question is, how easy to get a hold of? How easy to get a hold of parts? How easy is it to wick and to coil? How easy is it? How good is the airflow and how smooth and the throated? Those will determine if you go and upgrade yourself. So let's now sum up this video. Yeah. Take, for instance, the Spiker Pro, and I haven't got the K-Phone at the moment, but let's say the K-Phone X or the Fev, in that matter, that's very similar, or the Dwarf. What would be the difference between them? Well, as a vaping standpoint, airflow, smooth both. Silent, Fev, quieter, yeah. Easy to reach the deck and the coil, in many ways the Fev. This is a bit more complex. You have to open up, you have to make sure you wick it right. That's why the wicking is so important when you look at the close-up. This is easy. You just put in the wick, cut both sides over the post, that's it. To fill in, easier. Although it's bottom fill, the top cap is not easy to open. Juice flow. No juice flow here, no juice flow here. I never ever experience a dry wick on the Fev. Never. This one, if you don't wick right, yes. Throated, stronger, less. You see, so it all depends what's important to you. So you take a piece of paper and a pen and you put down as follows. Flavor on the top, throat it, ease of use, airflow, smoothness. What type of inserts is it provided with? Deck layout, build quality, is it important to you? Put that as well. Accessibility, can you get the Spiker Pro? Very difficult. Can you get the FEV? Yes, expensive. For English, for the UK, if not for juice cabin, impossible. So all those questions you need to put on a piece of paper and then start ticking. What is the most important to me? Flavor, if that's most important, then you really do not need to upgrade if you've got a decent mouth-to-lung RTA, any of those that I reviewed in the last 1.5 to 2 years. Yep. You might see differences between other blends, like the pipe, like the cigar, but is it worth the upgrade? For me, as a hobbyist, yes, but as a vapor, no. Then you go down a stage further. What is the airflow like? If it's important to you to have silent, then it's fairly easy to find out. Is it silent or not? You know what to ask. If you want it silent, so you narrow it down to those who have got silent airflow. If it's not important, out of the question. Does it get enough pins? Most of them do. So that is not in the equation. How easy is it to get to reach the deck? What mechanism is it? Undo, twist, like the air. Very easy on the FEV. Yeah, I'm not going to go through, it's going to take too long, but you got the gist. How easy is it to get to your deck to re-wick? Because if you're a fanatic on flavor like I am, you want to re-wick every 2 days. How easy is it to reach the deck? If it is easy, you tick. If it is complicated, always comes to mind the Artemis by Cthulhu. It was amazing flavor. Very easy to wick. Everything was perfect, but everything was reversed. To open the deck is this way, to open the tank is that way. I couldn't take it. So as good as it is, it's not for me. So you need to find out how do you have time to mess around or you don't. Then you come to the wicking itself. What style wicking? Is it complicated to wick? Take the Elbrich. It looks very easy, but it's not. The Bishop is easier. The Bishop's juice flow works flawless. The Elbrich sometimes has a mishap. Even if you know how to wick it perfect, you might get a dry hit on occasion. That dry hit will ruin your experience. I mastered it. For me, the Elbrich is amazing. Can you master it? Do you have the time? You have to ask that question. And then it comes to availability. Can I replace an O-ring? Can I replace a screw? Can I replace the glass? Can I replace a mouthpiece? Can I replace the top cap? If you can't, as good as this tank is, eventually something's going to happen. And then what? You're on borrowed time. That will put you under pressure. You'll end up putting it on your shelf. I don't want to use it in case something happens to it. So what did you buy it? No point. You bought it to vape it, not to put it in a cabinet and a display cabinet for whom to see. You don't have an audience every day. It's just you, your wife, and your kids and your friends. Is it worth it? Nah. Then you come to the last bit. How much does it cost? Is it worth it for you, your financial status? Is it going to take away money that's going to go to more important things in your life? Because the vaping side you can cover on a 30, 40 pound tank or less, 20 pound. Yeah. The Nico, 20 pound, 25 pounds these days. The Pioneer, the Expromiser V4, or the V5 if you like that one. I prefer the V4. But anyway, I can't remember the whole list. If you look through the playlist on my channel, you see quite a few good tanks. So you can get a good vape from those budgets, right? Is it worth for you to spend 120, 130, 150? If you don't go to clones, 200. Is it worth it? Is it going to take away more important things in your life because the vaping is covered? So now you're talking about the hobby side. If you could afford it, well, sky's the limit. If you can't afford it, know this, that it is not worth it. It is not worth it. I dealt with quite a lot of vapers who nearly got ruined financially because of this uncontrolled urge to buy anything they watched. Now, when I review a new tank, I'm always in my mind that maybe someone's going to watch this review and say, well, the one I reviewed before is no good. I always make sure to tell you. The difference in the flavor is minute. It's a bit sharper, it's a bit fuller, brings out the oakiness, a bit less on the sweetness, this more. But overall, they are equal. For me, as a hobbyist, and I could afford, I buy what I could afford. But you need to have a good look, hard look at yourself and say, can I afford the hobby side of the vaping? Can I or can't I? If you can't, be happy what you've got. Believe me, you will enjoy the vape more knowing that you're saving money by vaping and not smoking, not only your health. That is basically what I wanted to talk about. Now, if you are after high end and you don't want to spend the money, I fully understand the clone market. And I blame a lot the high end companies for that, because those who produce high end tanks, but they're never available to no one from the day it was advertised, what option do you give a vapor who wants that tank not to buy a clone? So then when he buys a clone, you complain that why do you buy a clone? It's unethical. Well, first of all, most companies copy one another. That's a fact. They buy it. That's how this whole mouth-to-lung RTA market evolved to what it was, to what it is today. It couldn't have happened without people copying someone else's ideas. It couldn't have. Because everyone is advancing the airflow system, the pin system, the deck layout, you know, the way the airflow on the chimney and the deck work in conjunction. That's the most important in the mouth-to-lung RTA. They all copy one another. So here you provide a tank that is not accessible only to the lucky few who are on your group. What option do you leave for a vapor who wants to sample it, if not by clone? And that is the biggest proof that build quality does not affect the flavor, because you can try a high-end clone and the flavor will be as good as an original. So the build quality is the hobbyist, Savinelli versus a lesser quality pipe. Yeah, it's the quality, not so much the smoke or in the vaping, the flavor. Yeah. So for those who ask me, Arcana or the air, it all depends what's important. Flavor, both are equal, different ways. Airflow, both as smooth. Noisiness, this might be a bit quieter, but is it worse? No. Deck, easy access, both similar. The wicking, the juice flow, both flawless. Different type of blends will taste delicious and both. Yes, you might see a bit of a difference between one side of the spectrum, the Mea Culpa to the Fev. Yes, Virginia's on the Fev will taste sweeter, but it will taste no less on this one, but maybe a bit different on the flavor delivery. Take a budget, the Bishop or the Pioneer versus high-end. It depends what you're looking for. Flavor, draw, easiness of deck, everything is the same. Why spend all that money? The hobbyist side, better build quality, a bit different on the flavor delivery. Yes, but is it worth? Ask yourself that question. Me? Yes, obviously. You can see I'm reviewing them. But I also have got the hobbyist of reviewing as well. I'm not a prime example. But you have to ask yourself that question. Is it worth for me the extra money for the slightest difference in the flavor delivery, not in quality, in flavor delivery? They're all top quality these days because they all have got concept of one another. Yeah. Look, I don't know if you agree with me on everything that I said. Take the tripod version 1. Okay, I'm ready 40 minutes. I wanted this to be a half an hour. I'm talking as quick as I can, and I still got so much to talk about. I'm not. Version 1 versus the Air. Yes, I'm super happy with this. It's much easier to deal with in a way for me day to day, because it's not as easy as the Air is easier than, but this is complex. For some people, this will be easier. It's all horses for courses. You have to ask yourself, are you going to have the wits when you turn, not to turn off the tank by the top bit with your remote holding the base? This you don't have the problem with. The juice flow here is as effective. The flavor, yes, there is a minute upgrade on flavor, but is it worth 150 euros to buy what you already paid for the tripod 1? Depends what you're looking at. As a hobbyist, yes, I love the design. I love the thought that went into it. I love the flavor. I love everything, but I love the version 1 as well. So if I didn't have the hobbyist bugging me, I wouldn't have bothered with Air. You see, so everything you need to look at yourself, put that list, airflow, easiness. I'm repeating myself because I'm nearly finishing the video now. Flavor, all of them are good flavor. Bit different, but all excellent. Airflow, right? Smooth, a bit noisy. Does it bother you or not? What kind of inserts? Do you like it tight? Do you got enough inserts? Easiness of maintenance of day to day. Is it easier to change your wick, to add, to work on it? You're going to have to do this very often. Is it easy? Not a tick. Build quality. Is it important for you as a hobbyist? Okay. Not as a hobbyist? Not so important. How much liquid does it hold? 2 mil? All hold 2 mil. Is it more important for you to pay so much more money for extra bit of mil? Just open the cap, put in extra liquid? Is it worth? Think for yourself. Throated. How important is throated for you? Now, forget the VG-PG ratio that adds a lot and the nicotine level. Some RTAs do provide good throated against others. This, with all its cleverness, doesn't have that throated. The best way to check throated is in the morning, before you drank anything, vape it. Feel the throat kick. Yeah? Because after you drank or after you vape it for half an hour, that throat hit is gonna become a lot less, because your throat is accustomed to the hit of the vapor. First thing in the morning, that will tell you what is the true throat hit of that tank. Without drinking, as you wake up, straight away. That is the best way to notice. But is throat hit so important for you, even if you're already getting it nicely? On that test that I just told you, is it so important? Then you go. If not, not. So in other words, make yourself a list based upon what is important to you, and then you will be able to come to a very quick decision. Is it worth upgrading or not? If I wasn't a hobbyist, that I enjoy all this, if I couldn't afford it easily, without putting pressure on other things that are important in life, because the vaping, as we said, is covered by much cheaper, would I buy all this? No. I would have bought the K-Phone Lite. When I first bought the K-Phone Lite, that would have been it for me. Nothing else. But I'm the hobbyist side. That is different. I'm like a pipe smoker who likes Savinelli 236, Savinelli 421, all these types of briarwood, where it's made, how it's done. I love this subject, but I'm not a smoker anymore. I can't sample those expensive cigars to try to see the difference between them. Or like whiskeys, yeah? I like my vaping to be similar. That's why I like all those different RTAs, but I'm coming already as well to the pinnacle. I don't see it going further. No. I'm also reaching slowly that's it. I've got it all. I don't need more. Yeah, so you have to ask yourself those questions. As soon as you give yourself honest answers, you would very quickly know, do you need to upgrade or not? For those who ask me the Arcana versus the Air, again, it depends. Not the hobby side? Definitely not. Arcana, superb. The hobbyist? Okay. So, of course, the hobbyist, I said, the sky's the limit. Can you afford it? Can it not put pressure on other resources that you need for day-to-day living? Does your wife agree to it? And everyone else is happy about it? Then go for it. By all means. Enjoy them all. But if not, be honest. And then you'll narrow it down quite a bit. Right, the review is, this subject has taken quite a long time. I can talk about it for hours. But I doubt very much if you want to hear me bubbling on. But anyway, in the comments I can fine-tune it further and help you out if you're looking for an upgrade based upon what we spoke today. Until the next review, take care, enjoy your vape, bye bye for now.